Good evening, or morning, afternoon, depends on where you are. But as always, just give me a second to tweet this and whatever. But if you're looking at the screen right now, what you can see is Brennan Poole will be, I think it's his Cup Series debut. They said it in the tweet. Maybe not. We'll confirm that here in a minute. Brennan Poole, he will be making a Cup Series start for NY Racing in the number 44 car at Pocono. So we'll look at the entry list, obviously, at the end of the stream, as always. But yeah, that's some breaking news here today. So one more second, I'm almost done with what I got to do, and then I can move on and we can get on to the heavier stuff regarding Mexico. So welcome everyone. Hope you're having a good evening, morning, afternoon, depends on where you are. We're starting a little bit early tonight, so that's fun. One more second. Hello, Clausen Z, welcome. But as you can see, we got our tabs. We got our normal. We're going to look at the race results. We're going to look at the standings. The NASCAR website still doesn't have the playoff standings, of course, because why would they? It's literally their sport and their playoff system, but why would they? So we'll look at the NBC updated point standings, and then we will move on to our other tabs. I don't remember what I have pulled up, but I think we're good there. And boom, there we go. We are now back to normal. So welcome everyone. Our normal Monday after live stream where we talk about the races that happened over the weekend. We have our tabs pulled up. We already basically talked about this one. We'll get back to it later. Though actually, I want to know something. Is this Brennan Poole's first Cup Series start? Maybe. It might be. We'll see. Anywho, yes, Cup Series and Xfinity Series were in Mexico. NASCAR made history this weekend. The Cup Series, at least. First international race since the 1950s, at least in the points-paying races. They have done some exhibition races in Japan and Australia. So, but yes, a historic weekend. TVH, welcome. Great watching Mexico race. Morning time in Perth, Australia. Well, thank you for the kind words. First of all, I appreciate it. Appreciate the support. But yes, it's morning over New Zealand, Australia. Don't know exactly what time, but Western Australia, obviously earlier in the morning, I would assume. But yeah, Mexico. I honestly enjoyed both races. I thought that they both had a lot of action, a lot of stuff going on. The last third of the Cup race, in terms of the race for the win, obviously got boring because SVG won by 16 seconds. He just obliterated the field. I mean, it was impressive to watch, don't get me wrong. But, if you are looking for a close battle for the win, you did not get that on Sunday. But still, when we look at these finishing results, guys, look at this. Shane van Gisbergen 1-1, okay. Michael McDowell 5-5. Everyone else in the top 10, 31st to 2nd. 12th to 3rd, 29th to 4th, 32nd to 6th, 19th to 7th, 26th to 8th, 27th to 9th, 16th to 10th. So while, sure, there was some strategy at play, there was rain at times, it got a little crazy at times, but we saw Ty Gibbs, he ends up finishing 11th. We'll talk about him more in detail, but he had to drive up through the field for a stint. He drives from, I think, 15th up to 3rd in that second to last stint before the final caution of the day. Chase Elliott goes from 12th to 3rd in that final stint of the race. So passing was possible. We saw some great racing on Sunday. I thought the mixed conditions kind of spiced things up. Obviously, the caution basically decided this race. If Ty Gibbs wanted to have any shot to beat SVG, he did not need that caution when it fell. So, yeah, I truly enjoyed the racing on Sunday. Saturday, same situation. We had great racing. We had a lot of action. We had some chaos on Saturday as well, with Zilich and Ty Gibbs being the class of the field and them getting taken out in a restart. Daniel Suárez's incredible 3-wide move to take the lead. I mean, we truly had some fantastic racing, some memorable stuff this weekend for NASCAR Cup Series' first international race in the modern era, and then for the Xfinity Series and their return to the Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez for the first time since '08. But in between the lanes, welcome Zero Apex, hello, Silverblade 1941, Owen C, Owen, oh, I just said Owen, Dogfish, 1 p.m. in New Zealand. Good to know. But yes, where is it? Yes, in between the lanes. I am an Oklahoma City Thunder fan. Currently, they are playing in the NBA Finals. So if I ever get distracted, I'm not watching the game. I wish I was, but obviously I have a commitment here to you, the viewers. But I do have the play-by-play pulled up on my second screen. So if I ever just stop for a second, it's because I'm looking at the score currently. Good news, Thunder up by 7. Series is tied 2-2. Got to win this one or we're going back to Indiana in an elimination game. So, yeah. Let's see here. Okay, it's not Brennan Poole's Cup debut. I was very wrong according to Silverblade 1941. Apologies, Brennan Poole. Now that you say that, yeah, he was in the 15 car. I don't know why I thought it was Brennan Poole's Cup debut, but I was very wrong. Apologies to Brennan Poole. 10:30 a.m. in SA. I'm assuming that's South Australia. If I'm wrong, sorry. Why am I crabby? We'll talk about it, but yeah, if we want to get into it right away, I'm wearing this because I didn't wear it yesterday to talk about the Stenhouse and Hocevar incident. So Stenhouse finishes 27th, Hocevar finishes 34th. They were both pretty, I hate to say irrelevant, but they didn't do much for the most part. There were a couple of restarts where they were up in the top 5, but, the mixed strategies, we saw a lot of different people in the top 5. So these two have gotten into it before, back at Nashville. When Hocevar, early in the race, sent it in there and Stenhouse went down and, the general consensus was not that Hocevar did anything egregious, but he could have cut Stenhouse a break at that point of the race. Well, now here we are 2 weeks later, I guess, and we're once again talking about these two running into each other. And it was, once again, a Hocevar. This time it was more of a Hocevar mistake. He sends it in. He misses the corner. He takes Stenhouse with him. Ultimately, Stenhouse wasn't junked. Hocevar wasn't junked, but it took a lot of time out of Stenhouse's day. It spun him out. He lost a bunch of positions. They end up finishing where they don't want to finish, 27th. And you got to remember, Stenhouse is still in a switch to what am I trying to say here? I don't know what I'm trying to say here. I literally just had a brain fart mid-sentence. But point being, Stenhouse is mad at Hocevar. This is the second time they've gotten into it in the last few weeks. They thought they had a good conversation after Nashville, and it turns out they did not because Hocevar did not learn his lesson. So Stenhouse goes into his window, shakes him a little. I guess we didn't really have an in-car view, but it looked like he was shaking him a little bit like, what are you doing, you idiot? We did have some audio. He said, when we get back to the States, I'm going to beat your rear end, which I thought was really funny. But yeah, Stenhouse obviously mad. I would say rightfully mad. He's been dumped by the same guy twice in 3 weeks. He hasn't learned his lesson. And if something else happens anytime soon, Hocevar is going to get punched in the face. We've seen Stenhouse punch someone in the face for wrecking him. So I'm not saying that Stenhouse should, but if Hocevar is an extremely talented driver. We can't deny that. We've seen what he's done in the Truck Series. Heck, we've seen what he's done in his young Cup Series career. But we have also seen the flip side where he's made a lot of mistakes. He's taken some people out. He's made some very dumb moves that have gotten him in trouble. Remember, last year at Nashville, he got fined because he intentionally wrecked Harrison Burton under caution. So, we've seen this with Hocevar before, and now we've seen it with a similar driver on the Cup level multiple times. If he does it again, Something's going to happen. Payback, something, punch in the face, whatever it may be. We're going to see something happen. So that's the whole reason I'm wearing the hat. That was a long-winded answer or a long-winded talk about, but we only talked about it briefly last night, so I figured that we would talk about it more in detail tonight. But Stenhouse and Hocevar, they can't avoid each other, and oh boy. Hey, in between the lanes, I'm taking credit for 1 for 2. Saturday morning, I switched to Zilich, but mid-race, Xfinity race, I switched it back to Suarez, so I'm giving myself a half point for that. Cup I missed. I picked Suarez all 3 times, so that was unfortunate. So 0.5 for 2. Yeah, Chase Elliott third. I think that's his best result of the season. As I said, kind of drove up through the field that last stint from 12th or 15th or whatever it was to third. They were on the fresher tires. Didn't burn them off like Ty Gibbs did. So we'll talk about Ty Gibbs at some point, I'm sure. But yeah, I got some thoughts on Ty Gibbs, and that's not a bad thing. I just think he's on a really good streak right now. TVH says it wasn't boring for us SVG fans waiting for a yell to be called. Yeah, that's the story of NASCAR. Every NASCAR driver, when they're leading late in a race and they got a big lead, or they're just waiting for something to happen, someone to spin out, for a tire to fall off, for the catch fence to fall down, for a Walmart banner to fall down like in Atlanta. But ultimately that caution didn't come, and SVG put down the biggest winning margin in next-gen history and the biggest winning margin in 20-something years, 30-something years, a crap ton of time. Good pick of Suarez. Thank you, Zero Apex. Yeah, I knew Suarez had to win one of them. I picked both of them just to play it safe, but thank you. Jamie, welcome. Yes, Le Mans was this weekend. I watched very little of it, unfortunately. I'd kind of forgot about it, which I hate to admit. But, yeah, I saw the last few minutes. I saw that there were some post-race issues with one of the Ferraris. Not the winning Ferrari, but one of them. And they finished like 1-3-4 or something. 1-2-4, 1-2-3-5. I don't remember. I think a Cadillac was third, actually. So, yeah, I can't remember exactly what happened there, but for sure interesting. Sorry, Thunderscore. They're up 7. It's almost the end of the first. I just got a notification that Rick Carlisle got a tech. He's the Indiana coach, so that's kind of a big deal. I don't know if he got tossed or not, but anywho. Back to the comments here. Wow, 58 people. This is a really good Monday after. Welcome to everyone. George, hello. Hope you're doing well. Ariel, apologies if I pronounced that wrong. Ariel. Guys, I pronounce names wrong a lot. It's not meant to be offensive. You can correct me in the comments, and if I do it wrong, I am sorry. Hey, Jamie, I switched back, so I think I'm giving myself a half point for it. Hey, George, I'm with you. Go Thunder. Thunder up. Hopefully they can win tonight and then win on Thursday, so I don't have to be stressed during the race at Pocono. That would be preferred. But, yeah, I will be so distracted. If it goes to Game 7, I'm going to be so freaking distracted at Pocono. Yeah, Jamie, Hocevar for sure, he took, accountability for it. He admitted that he messed up, screwed up, whatever you want to say. But he didn't really get a lot of words in because Stenhouse was yelling at him. And Hocevar also said he couldn't really hear him. He probably still had his helmet on. I don't know if there were still cars going by on their cool down laps or whatever. So, yeah, we'll see how that plays out. Saturday should be interesting at Pocono, the media sessions, to see what both of them have to say. I'm sure that Stenhouse is still going to be mad. He's still going to say some angry stuff. And that Hocevar, I'm sure he'll apologize. And I don't know what else he'll say, but whatever he's got coming to him, he's got coming to him. Probably not at Pocono. Pocono's too high speed, but Atlanta's after that. Won't happen at Atlanta. Chicago, it could happen at Chicago. It could happen at Sonoma. Then we go to Dover. Once again, that's too high speed. Indianapolis, too high speed. So I would bet on Chicago or Sonoma, some sort of payback on track, but yeah, he won't do it at a high-speed track. That's too that's where you get suspended if you're Stenhouse. So Owen says, a general question, why do they call a yellow when a car briefly spins but keeps going moments after with no damage? Owen, that is a fantastic question. I'm glad you asked that. NASCAR has been inconsistent at cautions as long as I've been watching. I've been watching since 2010, since I was 10 years old. So it's a mystery. I really do wish that NASCAR would adopt some sort of local yellows sort of thing like other major motorsports do. Now, there are certain situations where, yes, a car is wrecked and they got to get to it, or a car stalled out. Like hosts of ours stalled out for a good 30 seconds, and they didn't know he was completely across the track. They didn't know if he was going to get fired up. They had a decision to make. But like the Jesse Love spin on Saturday, he does a spin, he's waiting for the field to go by, and then 10 seconds later, he's doing a donut to get going the right way, but they threw a caution within 3 seconds. Like, what are we doing here? Like, why is that a caution with 6 laps to go? It's like they want to restack them up. So I don't understand the Jesse Love caution on Saturday. I understand the host of R1 on Sunday just because he was sitting there for a long time and he was completely across the track. So that one was a little bit more understandable, but the Saturday one I don't fully understand. And another thing I would like to complain about that I did not get to complain about yesterday. I came out of this weekend feeling really positive about NASCAR. They reached out to a new fan base. The fans at the track seem to have a great experience. You read all these stories about fans in Mexico who have been wanting to go to a NASCAR race for years, who have been wanting to go to a NASCAR race forever, but they've never had the opportunity because it's so far away. But now that it's in their backyard, that they can just pop on over or just go to Mexico City, or they're in Mexico City and go to a race, it was a huge deal. It was like a life-changing experience in a sense for some of them. I love reading those stories about fans who finally get to go to the track or finally get to see their favorite driver and experience that. And it's so cool to see another country embrace NASCAR as much as Mexico did, and just love it as much as we do up here in the States. Us longtime fans, newer fans, whoever it may be, it's so cool to see fans in another country. I don't care if it's bordering us, but it's super cool. That's my opinion. But back to my other complaint, I had 2 complaints this weekend, the inconsistency of the cautions. I thought we agreed to let teams make the calls on tires. If it starts raining, teams have the option to go to wet tires or stay on the dry tires. But no, we don't even get a full lap into the race, and NASCAR's throwing a caution because they're saying, oh, it's raining. Everyone get the rain tires ready if you want them. But what happened to the decision a couple of years ago or last year where they said, actually, we're going to let the teams decide when they want to go on the wets, when they want to go on the dries? Like, I thought we had agreed that that was what was best. Like, these are big boys and big girls that can make that call. They know what they're doing out there. They got the technology with the radars. Why do we have to call a caution and waste 4 laps away to let drivers put wet tires on? Like, let them do it themselves. So, anywho, I don't know. Those are my only complaints. Other than that, I got a lot of positive to take out of this weekend. I had a great time watching the races this weekend and seeing the fan reception from Mexico, despite the social media bozos trying to claim that everyone hated it, because social media doesn't know everything, believe it or not. Zero Apex, how bad was it? Oh my God. Riley Herbst, I gotta give him credit. He was actually having a really good day, qualified in the top 15, was in the top 15 for a good chunk. In fact, I think he was in the top 15 when William Byron just dumped him for I don't know what reason. Riley Herbst, my man, you cannot be getting back into traffic. Like, when you're turning the car around, dude, you got to let everyone go through. He just turns right in front of Ricky Stenhouse Jr. Stenhouse, that would have been a huge impact. That would have been a race ender for both of them. There would have been debris everywhere. There would have been fluid everywhere. Like, it would have been really bad. Thankfully, Stenhouse reacted in time, but Riley Herbst, my guy. Please do not turn across traffic again. That's usually the thing that gets you called to the hauler, but I don't know if they do that anymore, so who knows? Maybe he'll get a secret phone call this week yelling at him. So, but yeah, Riley Herbst, he was having a solid weekend. Got dumped by William Byron. If I want to blow this up, like I don't know, everyone was blowing up the host of our Stenhouse thing. Well, okay, let's talk about the potential implications of that. Riley Herbst, I don't think he said anything over the radio. I haven't actually listened, but maybe he did. Maybe he was mad. The biggest impact that could have is William Byron's going to be up front. He could be lapping Riley Herbst one of these days, and Riley Herbst might race him a little harder than he might if it's William Byron lapping him versus Kyle Larson. I don't know. Let's over-speculate. Let's blow things out of proportion, shall we? Anywho, I need to go to the next thing. Jamie, we will get to the fantasy standings. Don't worry. Brett, I don't know how that works. Apologies. I wish I knew. If you're talking about like subscribing, basically subscribing, I gotta admit, I don't know. The whole membership thing, they had me sign up, and I did. I don't do much with it. It was meant to be like an at-track thing, like extra content from at the track, but I'm not going to the track as much as I hoped. Anywho, that's a whole different conversation. So, yeah. Carson is to get wrecked in the next few weeks with Ricky. Yeah, Denver, as I said earlier, just kind of, if I had to guess or we had to predict when Stenhouse is going to strike against Hocevar on track, he won't do it at Pocono. He won't do it at Atlanta because those are two high-speed tracks where, you know, that could cause issues physically. You could get hurt. But then after that, you got Chicago and Sonoma road courses where there are some slow portions of the track, and you could spin someone out, send them in the dirt, not destroy them and not hurt them, but do enough to ruin their day. So I would guess if anything on track was going to happen, I would guess there, but who knows. Borderline Briar, welcome. Thunder up 12. 9 minutes left in the second. Come on. Oh, Aaron Wiggins is saving basketball. He just made a 3. Wow. Guys, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Aaron Wiggins saved basketball. I hope you know that. But oh, hello. Tori, thank you. I appreciate it. Appreciate the support. Very much. You've been on here before, so I very much appreciate the donation to the channel, if we want to call it that officially. But yeah, that means a lot to me. The support, obviously, but the donation to the channel as well means the world. So thank you very much, Tori. You made the evening so far. Let's see here. Christopher Bell, stalled on pit road, should have been a caution. Oh, yeah, that was so weird. So back to the caution discussion. Jamie, he didn't just stall. He blew up the engine. There's smoke going everywhere. Christopher Bell goes into the pits in the Xfinity race. His car explodes. Not fire, but there's a lot of smoke. Probably laying fluid down. He ends up finishing like last. Yeah, dead last in 39th. At the end of stage 2 maybe. Maybe it was stage 1. But Christopher Bell's sitting there. Just in the pits. Now he pulled off to the side, but still smoke going everywhere, blocking people's views, and NASCAR's like, there's 3 laps to go on the stage. Let's see how this plays out. Let's see what happens here. This could be really interesting, really exciting. Let's see what happens here. They just let him sit there. It's like, what are we doing here, guys? What is the point? Why are we letting him sit here with all that smoke coming out of his car? And then who was it? I think it was Jamie. As Jamie said, like, Christopher Bell finally said, screw this. I don't want to sit in here for as long as I have to. Like, he just gets out under green flag conditions. So Christopher Bell gets fined for that or something. That's going to be so stupid. It's not his fault that NASCAR didn't throw the caution. Oh, Tori, you're right. Yeah. I forgot about that. Buescher and Cindric stayed out on the slicks when NASCAR threw that caution for the wet weather. Once again, I don't know why they don't let the teams decide that. So statistically, Buescher led a lap. Officially, Cindric might have led a lap. Yep, he led a lap. So Cindric held his own for quite a bit, if I remember correctly. I don't think that Buescher did. I think he fell back a little pretty quickly. Correct me if I'm wrong there, but yeah. Oh well, they tried. Buescher still scored a top 10. As I said yesterday, they're just so consistent at these road courses, man. Like, it's just what he does. Rolando, welcome. Ashton, welcome. Daniel Suárez won the Xfinity race. Yeah, let's talk about Daniel Suárez for a bit. So Daniel Suárez, we come over here. He wins the Xfinity race. He finishes 19th in Cup. This was a huge weekend for Daniel Suárez. Whatever happens at Pocono, whatever happens at Atlanta, whatever happens at Watkins Glen in August, whatever happens at Bristol in September, whatever happens at Phoenix in November, whatever happens, this was one of the biggest weekends of Daniel Suárez's career. He's won an Xfinity Series championship. He's won multiple Cup Series races. He's raced for so many teams. Joe Gibbs Racing, Stewart Haas, Gaunt Brothers, Trackhouse. Like, he's raced across the board. But Daniel Suárez he has wanted a home race in some way, shape, or form for a long time. He finally got it. He got to come home to Mexico. He got to have all that support from the fans there at the track supporting him, the Mexican driver, and he gave them a show. Went from last to first in a backup car at Mexico in the Xfinity Series. It was great to hear the crowd, great to hear them really getting into it for Daniel Suárez. Even that half lap he led on Sunday, to hear the crowd's reaction. It's so cool to hear that, to hear an entire grandstand supporting their driver, because that's their guy. That's their home guy. Like, yes, Chase Elliott's the most popular driver. He goes and he leads laps at Atlanta. He goes, wins at Atlanta. Like, that's a big deal. And we see it all the time. Denny Hamlin's won his home race. Kyle Busch has won his home race. Like, we see guys win their home race, and it's a really big deal for them. It's a really big deal for their family. Sometimes it's a really popular win. But I feel like it's so much different with this situation. We haven't gone internationally since the 50s. We haven't gone to Mexico at all in the Cup Series. Haven't been to Mexico since Daniel Suárez has been in NASCAR. Like, to go to a separate country where someone else is from and for him to win there, that's like, I don't know how to properly compare it to anything we've ever seen before, because I really don't think we can compare a Chase Elliott Atlanta win, a Kyle Busch Las Vegas win, to Daniel Suárez winning at Mexico. So it was a huge weekend for him. Obviously, just the fan support, the media hype around him. His face was all over Mexico City, which, by the way, that's one of the biggest cities in the world. So for him to embrace it, for them to embrace him, I think it was a huge deal. And for him to get the Xfinity Series win on top of that just was... it was the cherry on top. So, yeah, it was so cool to see Suárez win on Saturday. Once again, I know Sunday didn't go quite as well for him, but just to see Daniel Suárez win, I thought was so cool. So, Daniel Suárez, huge win for him on Saturday. Mintox Ace, I'm sorry that you had to get up at 3 a.m. and then go straight to work after that, but I hope you enjoyed the race at least. At the very least, I hope you enjoyed it. I'm sure it was a maybe not a disaster of a day, but it was a rough day for you. But as I said, I hope you enjoyed the race. Rolando, let's talk about Shane van Gisbergen's day. So obviously, we're not going to do a Shane van Gisbergen recap here today because we did that yesterday because he was up front all race and we talked about the impacts of his win. The initial impacts of his win and the general impacts of his win, let's kind of do that in a more general form. So, Shane van Gisbergen, if we come over here, we can go to his tweet, first of all. I'm going to clip this and make this a video too for you guys because there are a lot of It's a ripple effect for what his win does. So as you see, he wins once again an inaugural event on a road course that he wins. This is why Trackhouse signed him. The expectation was, yes, the first half of the season at the very least is going to be rough in terms of the ovals. It's his first time in a Cup car at Bristol. His first time in a Cup car at Texas. His first time in a Cup car at Kansas. Sure, he's been to some other tracks. He's been to Darlington. He's been to Vegas. He's been to Talladega. But he still has not got a lot of laps in. So the expectation was not that he's going to light the world on fire this first season in Cup. But they were heavily leaning on when they signed him, he's going to win a road course race to advance to the NASCAR Cup Series playoffs. It doesn't matter where he is. Let's say he comes out the gates firing off really well, consistently top 15, top 20. He's sitting 20th in points. He goes out and wins a road course race. That advances him a little bit. That gets him into the playoffs, and they're not in the stress of points racing. But it went the other way. They had a horrible start to the year. 33rd in points entering this race. Only recently, the last 3 or 4 weeks, however many weeks it's been, they've really turned it around and they've had some speed and they've actually been much more competitive. A top 15 at Charlotte, top 20s at Kansas and Darlington and whatnot. But they've put it together a little bit more. But what this win at Mexico does is, one, it blows up the playoff grid. So if we come over here to the NASCAR playoff grid, I need to make sure I got everyone on here. Can you see that? We're in the middle of a live stream. I'm cutting this into a video later. But okay, maybe you can see it there. Does that help? So what this does is Shane van Gisbergen was not even on this beforehand. He was nowhere near the top 20. Probably 100 and something points behind. Look where he is now. He's now 9th. Now in the point standings, he's still shown as 30th. He's still 30th in the regular season points, but he jumps up to 9th in the points, essentially. He has 6 playoff points because he won a stage and he gets 5 for the race win. But what this does here is if, let's say, Christopher Bell won yesterday, Shane van Gisbergen finished second. SVG is not a part of this, and this cut line is actually here. I think that, no, I went the wrong way. It's here. So Ryan Preece would be in. He'd be plus 24 or whatever this number is. Michael McDowell would be the first one up, and Chris Buescher, he would have a much bigger gap. So while it impacts SVG in his season directly, it impacts Ryan Preece, Michael McDowell, AJ Allmendinger, Kyle Busch, but also those above the cut line, Chris Buescher, Alex Bowman, and then even further, if we get 5 more winners, we could see Chase Elliott out of this thing. Or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, if we get 6 winners, we could see Chase Elliott out of this thing completely if he doesn't win a race. So it has massive ripple effects from that point of view, but in terms of his season directly, this kind of opens the playbook again a bit. With the ovals, it'll be, I would say, business as usual. Learn the ovals, try to figure things out, see where you improve, see which tracks you're good at. If you go to a track that's close to a playoff track, then yeah, try to do well. Try to really learn from that to take it to the playoffs. But when it comes to the road courses, the focus will be playoff points. He has 6 playoff points right now. You want as many of these juicy playoff points as you can possibly get. So let's be realistic. The majority of playoff points SVG is getting is going to be at the road courses. So Chicago, Sonoma, Watkins Glen. Those are our last 3 road courses. The focus there is going to be somehow, some way get playoff points, whether that's going for the race win or winning a stage. If a situation plays out, like let's say they have a poor qualifying effort at Chicago, they qualify 13th, they're running 5th, 6th by the end of the stage in the top 5 pit, they're going to stay out and take the stage win. You're going to try to get yourself a bonus point for the playoffs. So from that aspect of what it does to their season is they don't have to be over-aggressive for a win, but they now kind of have to be not over-aggressive, but they have to be aggressive for playoff points because they're not in the hunt for bonus points for finishing top 10 in the regular season. They're not quite mathematically eliminated, but they're almost there. So the objective of the rest of the season, they can take it easy. The whole objective of Shane van Gisbergen at Trackhouse full-time was get him in the car. It doesn't matter how he does on the ovals. As long as he wins a road course, they're in the playoffs. It boosts the stock of the charter. It boosts the stock of Trackhouse. It boosts the stock of SVG. It's a win for everyone in that organization now that he's won a road course. And that was the whole reason they have him as a full-time Cup driver. Everyone knew it coming into this season that to make the playoffs, he had to win a road course. Winning an oval race was a long shot this season. If it's going to happen, it's going to be a super speedway, if we're being real. It's still a long shot, I would say. So the objective has been met. They have won a race. They're in the playoffs, but this shifts their season. This takes all the pressure off their back. So Chicago, Sonoma, Watkins Glen, they are not must-wins anymore because Shane van Gisbergen has that win. Now, they're still going to go for the win and try to get those bonus playoff points, get a trophy, but if they're running 7th at the end of a stage, they're going to try to get that stage win rather than potentially going for the win or staying out for stage 2 track position, you know? So it changed the aspect of their season. It changes things. As I said, I would guess that the ovals will stay the same, but the road courses, maybe a little bit of a shift. But the pressure is off of Shane van Gisbergen's back. He's in the playoffs officially. There's no more pressure to win a road course this season. He's done what he was signed to do. It's also big for his contract, I guess. I don't know what the actual terms are, but in terms of the 3 Trackhouse seats and 4 drivers. So we'll see. We'll see what ends up happening. But thought I would do that quick little spin up since we didn't have our normal SVG recap this week since we basically did it yesterday. But yeah, hey, it's there we go. It changes his season in a sense. Okay, now back to the live stream. I had to do something. I know some of you are used to the Monday night stuff, or I guess it'd be Tuesday morning over in Australia, Tuesday afternoon in New Zealand. So I figured I'd do something. I'll edit something together and see what I can do. And I don't even know if that was good enough. But, hey, hopefully it's something. Hopefully it informs someone out there. That's the whole objective of the channel, is to inform someone. Okay, Rolando was our last comment. Yeah, Denver, the virtual safety car would be interesting. The only problem is, like, how would you tell the drivers? I think they have a digital dash in the car, so you could tell them there. Maybe. I don't know. But figuring out just how to make that work, how to make it consistent. And then you got to stay within a delta, so you got to have all these timing lines and whatnot. And I guess they do have the scoring loops. They could figure it out that way. But I just, local yellows. I mean, I get we don't go to the biggest road courses. I think ever since they chopped Coda up, I think the biggest road course we go to now is it Watkins Glen? Watkins Glen, 2.45 miles? Is that our biggest road course now? Or is Coda still bigger? I think Watkins Glen's our biggest road course now. So, I don't know. Yeah, oh, and as I said, like, it just kind of opens the playbook for them. There's not pressure on him anymore. I mean, the realistic expectations, I think I said it when I did the preseason preview for this team. The expectation, win a road course, make the playoffs. That's it. That's the expectation for the 88 team in his rookie year. Not advancing in the playoffs. If they do, that's a bonus. That's a plus. If they win an oval, that's a double plus, a super plus. They're probably, realistically, they're going to get eliminated in the first round. I think Darlington's a strength, actually, believe it or not. But the other 2 tracks, we got a brand new track for SVG at Gateway. Bristol, a track he struggled at in the spring. So if we're being realistic, he's probably going to get eliminated in that first round. If anything, he probably wishes that it was last year's first round of Atlanta, Watkins Glen, and Bristol, because he'd have a super speedway where he'd probably get some help with other people wrecking out. Watkins Glen where he could straight up win. And then Bristol wouldn't matter if he wins. And then the second round has Talladega and the Roval where he can win, Talladega where he can hope in other people's mistakes. So it takes the pressure off their back because they met their expectations. There's no longer this, all right, we're at road course number 3. Shane still hasn't won. If he doesn't win this one, he's only got 2 left. Oh, man, only 1 more road course. If Shane doesn't win this, he's out of the playoffs. Man, why'd they sign this guy? So it takes the pressure off their back. I think that's the biggest takeaway from this. And I saw Jamie's comment. We'll get to it here in a minute. Let's go to it now, actually. Tori, I don't think that they took SVG out of the 9 so that he wouldn't sweep. I think it was more because it was a really big deal for Daniel Suárez to race in Mexico. Like, imagine, let's say there's a race in New Zealand, and Daniel Suárez was slated to drive the 9 car in the Xfinity Series in New Zealand. I think Shane van Gisbergen would make a push to race as much as he could in NASCAR in New Zealand, as long as NASCAR's there. Like, it was a really big deal for Suarez. There was no way that he wasn't racing in that race, I feel like. So the Trackhouse deal had already been made with JRM, with Zilich in the 88, with Ross and SVG doing some races in the 9, that it just made sense. So I don't think it was necessarily an anti-SVG thing. It was a pro-Suarez thing because, as I said, it was a really big deal to get Daniel Suarez in that car. And obviously it worked out because he won. Yeah, SVG this year, the objective is to learn on the ovals and win on the road courses. You said it perfect, Denver. That's literally the objective of this year. And if he makes a big step up on the ovals in 26, maybe the objective would be make the playoffs with a road course win and advance out of that first round. Darlington will probably still be in there. I don't know what the schedule is going to look like next year. We won't know for another month or so, maybe 2 months, maybe 3. NASCAR's inconsistent at releasing these schedules, so... And it's not always, that sounds so negative when I say it like that. It's because they're trying to work out deals at new tracks, like the Mexico deal. The Canada deal fell through. They had to find a replacement. We didn't get the schedule till September, whatever. So, anywho. Yes, okay, Jamie. So now we have to get to the negative. So Jamie here says, so much hate for Joey last year for being so far behind in the points and then suddenly in the postseason with his win in Nashville. I'm not hearing anyone cry foul for SVG's win and you're in. So, Jamie, you're a lifelong Logano fan. So that's going to be your immediate thought, is that Logano was 15th, 16th, whatever it was in the points, entering the playoffs, and he goes on this crazy run and he wins the championship, despite being 15th in the points all season long off of a miraculous fuel mileage win at Nashville. So I don't think that's a good comparison to this current situation, because Shane van Gisbergen just launched himself from 33rd in the points to at worst 16th. He could finish 15th, 1st to 16th. That's where he could finish. I would compare it to Harrison Burton. On social media, there's been some outcry saying, hey, great win by SVG. He whooped everyone's butt, but are we seriously going to let this guy in the playoffs? He just ran 33rd in the points for the first 14, 15. How many races have we had this year? No, this is my standings page. We've had 16 races this year, and through 15 races, he was 33rd in the points. So almost halfway through the season, this guy's been in the 30s in the points all year long. But because he wins a single race, we're going to let him in the fight for the championship? Like, what's up with this? This is the second consecutive season we've had this happen. Last year, Harrison Burton entered Daytona, 32nd, 33rd, 34th, whatever it was, heading into that Daytona race, and he wins, and he makes the playoffs. But everyone kind of knew that's a first-round elimination. That's a great win, great story, feel-good story, Wood Brothers' 100th win. But at the same time, we're going to let this guy in the fight for the championship. You guys know how I feel about the playoffs. I'm not a fan of the NASCAR playoffs. I don't think we should have winning you're in. I don't think we should have playoffs. I don't think we should have a chase. I don't think we should have whatever. I think we should just do it like every other motorsport does it and do a season-long point system that awards whoever was the best overall through an entire season. Like if we look at it right now, Kyle Larson has the most playoff points. But look at this. He's more than a full race behind William Byron because William Byron has been more consistent. Like, hey, I would say William Byron, despite Larson having 2 more wins, Byron's been better this year. He's been more consistent. So I don't like playoffs. This is the second straight year we've had this discussion. Like, in terms of Shane van Gisbergen's win, if we separate the win and the playoff situation, that was a huge win for him. To get his second NASCAR Cup Series victory is a huge deal. For him to go out and win another inaugural NASCAR event, for an international driver to win an international race in the first international points race since the 1950s, that's a really big deal. That is a huge story. That should be the front line. That should be what we're talking about, and that only. But instead, we have this voice in our head saying, man, this guy was sitting 33rd in the points, and he's going to be in the playoffs now over Ryan Preece, over Kyle Busch, Michael McDowell, whoever. Like, that seems kind of whack. This is the second straight year we've had this conversation. And it's not the first two times we've had it either. Remember, Chris Buescher in 2016 wins that fog-shortened race at Pocono. And I know there was the top 30 ruled in, but he just barely snuck into the top 30. He was probably 29th or 30th heading into those playoffs. And guess what? He was a first-round elimination. Like, I don't like the playoffs. I don't like that we have to have these conversations because it's not fun. Like Jamie said, it gets a lot of negativity to stories that should not have negativity. Harrison Burton winning the 100th race for the historic Wood brothers, that's such a big deal. That should be celebrated. That should be talked about for generations in a sense. But instead, we're talking about it here almost a year later because of the negativity around the playoffs and all that. Like, I knew I'd get to this event. That's the real reason I'm wearing this hat, because I have to talk about the playoffs. Oh, the Thunder are up 15. I'm in a better mood now. Lucky you. The Thunder are up big. But that lead can be erased. I know the Pacers, they have some magic in the last 3 minutes that they can pull out. I went on a side tangent. I ended up ranting a bit about how much I hate the playoffs, but to Jamie's point, and I've seen some people argue when you compare the SVG and Harrison Burton situation directly, SVG dominated that race. We all knew coming into the season that Shane van Gisbergen was signed to win a road course race. We knew this was a possibility. With Harrison Burton last year, we did not know that was a possibility. We knew realistically Harrison Burton's best shot at winning was a super speedway. We knew that it was a big year for him because if he didn't perform, he'd probably get fired, which he did. So when you compare the two, like a NASCAR Cup Series win is a NASCAR Cup Series win, but I have seen people on the internet comparing the two wins and whatnot, but they both still count as NASCAR Cup Series wins at the end of the day. And they got him into the playoffs. I'm very behind on comment, so I apologize if I'm really late. I ranted there for a minute. Yes, Tori, yeah. New winners in the next 10 races asks, oh boy, a Mayfool. If I pronounce your name, I'm so sorry. You can yell at me in the comments or tell me how to correctly pronounce your name. Amaefule. Once again, apologies. So let's go to the schedule real quick. Who do you think the new winners will be in the next 10 races? Fantastic question. So let's talk about Ty Gibbs. I've been wanting to talk about Ty Gibbs. Once again, we're really behind in the comments. I'll make it quick on Ty Gibbs. Ty Gibbs, this current run he's on is reminding me of 2018 Chase Elliott. 2018 Chase Elliott, there was a lot of talk behind him. He's in a Hendrick Motorsports car. He was this hot prospect, supposed to light the world on fire in Cup. But he's had how many starts and he hasn't won a race? I think it was like 97 starts and he hadn't won. Are we serious? This guy still hasn't won a Cup Series race? What are we doing here? But then he goes to, I think it was New Hampshire, runs top 5, wins the stage on speed. Okay, that's a good sign. Goes to Pocono the next week. Runs top 5, runs top 3 maybe, wins the stage again. Okay, this is getting serious. He's taking some big steps here. Next week at Watkins Glen, wins his first career race. Well, think about Ty Gibbs in the last 2 weeks. Runs third or I guess technically, did he finish runner-up at Michigan? I can't remember. But he runs really well at Michigan, has great speed, a track that he's good at, and they put themselves in position to win that race, but ultimately they overcalculate the fuel, and they could have made it on fuel. They have to wait their turn because Denny Hamlin wins. This week, they had arguably race-winning speed. They were going up against the best on the road courses in Shane van Gisbergen, and at times they were beating Shane van Gisbergen. But an untimely caution derails their day. They end up finishing 11th. They're showing race-winning speed at multiple types of tracks. They're knocking on the door. It's been a pretty bad start to the year. We can't sugarcoat it. He's 24th in points. I think it's 24th. 24th in points in a Joe Gibbs racing car is not good. No Joe Gibbs racing car should be in 24th. But with how they performed these last 2 weeks, they're getting close. It could very well happen at Pocono. As I said with that trend with Elliott, now not everything is going to go the same as every single situation, but that's just a comparison I wanted to make. So, Ty Gibbs, that first one could be coming soon. You never know. So, anywho. Oh my. Owen! Holy crap. You are a champion. You are my hero. Just want to say, appreciate the updates on NASCAR and SVG in general. For someone new to NASCAR, provide easy to follow. Well, Owen, I appreciate it. Like, that means so much. So, I mean, just the kind words, the donation to the channel is great, but I seriously appreciate it. I know a lot of you in Australia and New Zealand watch this channel because I provide updates on Shane van Gisbergen, and I never thought I'd be doing it. But when I saw that there was some viewership there, and I saw that there were people who genuinely cared about this guy and his status in NASCAR and how he was going in NASCAR, I was like, okay, there are people who care about this, and there are people who want to know week by week updates. So I'm glad I get to do it because I don't do this for any other driver. But the fact of the matter is, as I said, a lot of you care about Shane van Gisbergen's whereabouts in the NASCAR world, his results. And I fully understand going into a new sport. I don't know if scary is the right word, but you don't understand everything. When I turn on a soccer game, football, whatever you want to call it, every 4 years for the World Cup, I don't know what's going on all the time. I know what offsides is. I know what a goal is, but I couldn't tell you all the little technicalities. Sometimes I have to look things up. So trying to simplify things for you guys, trying to make it as easy as possible to understand the basics of NASCAR. And when a situation pops up, when Shane van Gisbergen's right rear tire goes flying off the car and you're wondering, why is he suddenly 2 laps down? What's up with that? Well, that's what I do, is I tell you why he's 2 laps down, because it's in the rule book. It's a 2-lap penalty for a wheel flying off the car. So I understand some of these small technicalities can be difficult to understand, so sometimes we focus in on them. Learning a new sport can be a lot, but the fact that you guys are committing to learning a new sport gives me the opportunity to commit to teaching you guys some of the small, simple things, but also some of the odd, weird technicalities and rules. Hey, I can't thank you enough. So, Owen, thank you for the kind words. Thank you for the donation to the channel. Wow, that's a big number for me. So, hey, Owen, seriously, I appreciate it. I know you said you appreciated the information and the videos, but I appreciate you because without you, I can't make the videos. So, yeah, that means a lot. That really does mean a lot to me. So, thank you. Where were we? Let's see the Thunder have reached halftime. They're up by 14 at halftime. Stop the count. Let's see here. Prime Video, Ashton, Prime Video has been fantastic. I am so sad. I'm going to cry after Pocono when I realize, oh crap, we have to wait another year for Prime Video. I've had a great time. I've loved Prime Video. Pre-race, post-race, in-race, like 10 out of 10. Cinema. Love Prime Video. Well, Nee, I'm sorry that you guys don't get the coverage of Prime Video in Australia. But hey, if you can watch the highlights on YouTube, I hope you can. That kind of helps, I guess. But, hey, You never know. No, the Roval's in the playoffs, Jamie. It's in the playoffs. Yeah, Silverblade 1941. It's a tough call to make on the Trackhouse seats. Right now, Zilich is a top-tier talent. You can't deny it. With how well he does on the road courses, with how quickly he's adapted to these ovals, you can't deny how good he is and that he's going to be a Cup Series talent one day. But we've seen people get rushed up before. So if I'm Trackhouse, if he's not getting phone calls from like big Cup Series teams, I would let him wait another year. I'd run this current lineup back one more year with Chastain, Suarez, and SVG. See how it works out. Then you can promote Zilich once he has another good Xfinity year. But that's just my opinion. Lindsay, even if Shane van Gisbergen, if he wins the rest of the road courses, he gets 5 bonus points for Chicago, 5 for Sonoma, 5 at Watkins Glen, and let's throw in 2 stage wins in there. That's 23 playoff points. Don't get me wrong, that's a huge help, but he's going to need a monster run at Darlington because Gateway, he hasn't driven anything like Gateway in his Cup career. Heck, I'd argue he hasn't driven anything like Gateway in his NASCAR career. And that ultimately, I think that race is going to come down to survival. Just finish the race, even if you finish 28th. Some guys will have problems, and then Bristol, he didn't run great in the spring, but the second time he's gone back to tracks, he's massively improved. He has shown that in his Xfinity days, so he could run much better, but I think it's going to be a tall task to get out of that first round for him, even if he has 23, 24, 25 bonus points. But if he gets to that round of 12, winning the Roval is very much a possibility. So if he gets to that round of 12, then yeah, he could get to that round of 8 just by winning the Roval or running well at Talladega and running well at the Roval. But getting out of that first round is going to be tough for SVG if you want my honest opinion. Cameron, I get what you're saying that, hey, everyone knows the rules coming into the year. You got 26 races to win a race and get into the playoffs and advance through the rounds. And yes, that is correct. Everyone knows the rules. That's why Trackhouse signed Shane van Gisbergen. But on the flip side, do we have to have these rules? Do we have to have this system? It's the rules. Yes, you're correct. Doesn't mean I have to like them, though. So Denver asked, do you think the NASCAR field is envious of SVG being so good on the road courses? I don't know if envious. I think it sets a higher bar for them. Like, we have some really good road racers. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that they're going to do what SVG did and go over to Adelaide and win Adelaide in their first start. But I think a good chunk of our guys could go be competitive in other motorsports series. I truly do believe that. But with your question directly, I don't think they're envious of how good he is at the road courses because we know. Sure, that first Chicago race, I think that was a massive shock to the drivers, to everyone. But now that we know how good he is, he's the bar, he is the standard, and it's kind of a target. It's kind of like when you put a Cup guy in the Xfinity field, when you put Larson in the Xfinity field, when you used to put Kyle Busch. It's like, if we can beat that guy, we have truly done something special. We've truly done something impressive if we can beat that guy straight up, like when Buescher beat SVG at Watkins Glen last year. I think that was something to be very proud of for that team. So, I don't think it's envious, but it does set the bar higher on the road courses. That would be my guess. Let's see. Yeah, Cameron. So the types of tracks in NASCAR, you got the super speedways. That's Talladega, Daytona, Atlanta. That's the pack racing where you're flooring it. You're 3 wide, 4 wide, and there's a big wreck and 20 cars are out. Then you got your speedways, and that's your traditional NASCAR track, your mile and a half, like Texas, Las Vegas, Kansas, Charlotte. Michigan's technically, it's a speedway, an intermediate track. Then you got the short tracks, which are Martinsville, Bristol, Richmond, Iowa, your heavy braking, slow tracks, beating and banging, that kind of thing. And then you got your road courses. So, yeah, you're correct in those. But it's very rare to see a driver good at all of them. As you said, like if we go through every driver in the Cup Series standings, we'll find a weakness for them. Points leader William Byron. Well, I would argue that Byron doesn't really have a lot of weaknesses. He's won at multiple short tracks. He's won at speedways. He's won at effects using hand gestures. That sounds obscene. Sorry, guys. Byron's won at short tracks. He's won at super speedways. He's won at all but Talladega. He's won at the speedways, Texas, Las Vegas, and he's won on the road. So Byron kind of doesn't have any weaknesses. Kyle Larson has a very glaring weakness. Super speedways. Kyle Larson, although this year he has 2 top 5s at him, but when you go to every other statistic, Kyle Larson is horrible at the super speedways. That is his weakness. I think that's pretty safe to say. Christopher Bell, he has won at a super speedway now. I would have said super speedways before this year because he's won at every type of track, I believe. Chase Elliott, I would say the speedways more than anything. He's a great short track racer, great road course racer. He's a solid super speedway racer, but in the next gen era, he only has the Texas win on the intermediates, I think. So that would be his weakness. Denny Hamlin's is the road courses. Statistically horrible at the road courses, especially in the next gen. Reddick's is the short tracks. Blaney is, I would say, the road courses probably. Anyways, we could be doing that all night, going through everyone's weaknesses. Hey, Denver. It's going to be expensive. Owen helping the travel fund in a sense. I would love to go to Bathurst. That would be super cool. But, yeah, it's a little bit pricey to get to Australia. So, I got some family, some friends who have been there. Have had great things to say about Australia. They've been to Melbourne, Sydney, Adelaide, Brisbane. Like, Australia seems like a really cool place. I want to get there one day, but the funds are not in the cards right now. I'm focusing my funding on NASCAR, so we'll see. Well, Jamie, I appreciate the kind words. Thank you. It means a lot. You are a longtime supporter, not only of Joey Logano, but of this channel. So, Jamie, thank you for your support. Oh, no. Is this lagging? Oh, boy. Oh, no. Why does it say the internet's slow? This new internet that I'm on since I moved over here has been fantastic, so. Oh, you gotta be kidding me. Maybe it's because I'm on the Pacers Thunder. Here, I'll eliminate that. Oh, crap. Shoot. Hello? You guys there? Oh, I'm fine. Okay, thank you, John. I was showing lagging on my end, so. Well, that's good to know that it's not lagging because that would have sucked. Anywho, let's get back to the comments. I don't even remember where we were. Yeah, I can do I didn't really talk, David, I'll mention F1. Man, what in the hell was Lando Norris doing? What was his plan? So I forgot the F1 existed until 2 minutes before lights out. Thought for sure that George Russell and Max Verstappen were going to wreck each other in turn 1. That did not happen. But Lando Norris, with like 5 laps to go, going to pass his teammate. These two are competing for the world championship. Lando Norris just basically just drives into the back of him and kills his car. Piastri did nothing. Piastri's literally just holding his line, and Norris is like YOLO and wrecks himself. So, I don't know what the plan was there. Dude, it was pretty dumb. So, yeah, that happened, I guess. It was silly. It was pretty dumb. Let's see. Yeah, Gary, so I get what you're saying, but there was some talks that the tickets were expensive in Mexico, but the stadium section looked pretty decently full. The fans were really loud despite the not full attendance. And you got to also remember, this is a Formula One track. They host Formula One events. So they host like 100,000 people for a Formula One race on Sunday. Probably more than 100,000 people. I don't think NASCAR was going to get 100,000 people out there for that race. So I don't know what the actual attendance number is, but there you go. Yeah. I thought it was pretty well attended for a first event in a big facility like that. But anywho. I don't know, Mark. I don't think SVG would go out and win in Hendrick equipment on the ovals right off the bat because he still is learning the ovals. Like Larson, Byron, Elliott, Bowman, like they know these ovals and whatnot. So to sit here and say he's going to go out and win ovals, like if you give him a Hendrick car, I don't think that's accurate. I think he'd run better than Trackhouse, but I don't think he'd go out and win like first time out, that kind of thing. Mike, I think you are like the first member. I have set that up. I set that up in April when I was going to races, covering races a bunch. And that was going to be like my behind the scenes kind of thing. Obviously, I've not been to many races since. My schedule has changed, out of my control. But yeah, I will figure out, Mike, for you, I will figure something out to do. I'll post pictures, behind the scenes, whatever I got to do. I'll do something. Speaking of Mike, Mike, I make sure to say every single digit of his name in the fantasy standings. My fantasy team has once again sucked. I forgot to sub out Kyle Larson this week. I'm so stupid. Anywho, I left Chris Buescher on the points. I left 29 points on the board, probably for like the 30th time this season. Yeah. I had SVG, so I got that going for me. I had Elliott. Outside of that, once again, a disaster for me. Let's go through the race results. Oh my goodness, Mike Wallace. No wonder you brought up the fantasy. Look at our race winner this week. You can't actually see it, but now you can. Expat _ Kiwi _ Mike _ Wallace is our race winner at Mexico. Congratulations, Mike, everyone. Hell of a job, my friend. 212 points. I had 142. How many points did I say I gave up? Like 30? 172. So I would have moved up 2 spots. God, I'm so bad at this. Dude, I suck at fantasy. It's actually getting really funny. So let's go to the league standings. I'm 16th in the points. This is so embarrassing, man. On April 15th, I said 18th is basically the same as first. I've moved up 2 spots since April. I'm terrible. Dunkin' Donuts is winning by 16 points over Klaus van Gisbergen. Zerkman 95 is on the podium. Fantastic Priest, Hell on Wheels 24, Aussie Matt. All right, here we go. Our first ever member, expat _ Kiwi _ Mike _ Wallace, 7th. RT Racing, Dan the Jets fan, our defending champion, by the way. Matt Smith, 53, Zero Apex, Tyler Hernandez, 6, Micah MLB, 15, Oscar Dave, David Jerry, 24 fan. Me, I suck. It's embarrassing. Crackler. Dr. Zero, Sportswagon, Jamie, who, by the way, did you guys know that Jamie is a lifelong Logano fan? Just in case you didn't know. Nee, Hack Dash House, Supercar Nut, Space Wrangler Racing, Tritech, JTF 526, Rebutted, and a bunch of people who still haven't filled out their roster. I don't think it's too late to join. So if you want to join the Fantasy League, I will put that link in the chat. You can have so much fun. It's for fun. There's no big prize. It's not like you win $1 million. Heck, you don't even win a normal dollar. It's just for fun. I'll mention you on the channel and stuff, and I don't know if that means anything to you, but here you go. Bam. Join the league. We have fun. Look at Mike. Mike has fun. He missed a few races, and he's killing it. So, who's really been killing it this year is these top two. This is like our Max Verstappen, Lewis Hamilton 2021. Dunkin' Donuts, Klaus van Gisbergen exchanging the lead. Probably have wrecked each other a couple times in the fantasy world. Like, it's crazy, man. Where was I don't know. I'm so lost. I'm so behind. This is a good thing. When I'm behind on comments, that's a fantastic thing. That means you guys have been killing it, showing up. We've had like 50 plus people for a good chunk of this thing. That's really good for this channel, by the way. I don't know if you know that, but very thankful to everyone who's here so far. We've already gone an hour plus. We usually stop at an hour, but I'm going to keep going because I feel good. The Thunder are playing basketball. Let's see how they're doing. They're up by 11 early in the third. Would rather have a bigger lead, but I won't get too selfish, I guess. Denver, you want me to do a shoey for Bathurst? Yeah, I will do a Bathurst reaction in October. Shoey, I don't know. Depends on how late at night, early in the morning. Depends on what am I drinking, Denver? And can I get new shoes for it? Like, do I have to do it out of an old, smelly, like, diseased shoe that I have? Or oh, yes, Mark. Xfinity Internet. Xfinity, faster than Xfinity Internet or whatever. Sean, I appreciate the kind words. I'm glad you're here. Thank you for being a supporter. I very much appreciate you. Once again, Mike, first ever member. I'll make a post tonight. I haven't posted that in months. I'll post some pictures. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go to some of my old track pictures, and I'll post some of those. Mike, I'll do that for you. Mike Glad, thank you for the donation to the channel. Yeah. Nee, it's like I'm so mad at myself, Nee, because look what I did this week. I burned a Larson usage on a 2-point race. Like, what am I doing? Like, SVG, I'm just going to put him in at the road courses and cool. Chase Elliott, I'll do short tracks and road courses. AJ Allmendinger, road courses. Suarez, Atlanta in road courses. Busher. But Pocono, I'll probably do Larson, Hamlin, maybe Bell, Ty Gibbs, Byron. I don't know, whoever I feel like. That's what I'll do for you, Mike. If you're in the channel membership thingy, I will give you my fantasy lineup every week, if I remember. Four for four in the head-to-head picks. Hey, good job, Zero Apex. Let's see. Did I do good? Oh, no. I picked Kyle Busch, Suarez, McDowell. All right, I got Elliott. 1 for 4. 1. I got 1 right. Woo. Went 25%. I knew I was done, but whew. Randy Marsh. No way. Is it like the Randy Marsh? Like Stan's dad? Yeah, that'd be cool. Like what SVG and Larson had going on at Chicago last year in Xfinity. That would be fun. Hey, Cameron. I got... Cameron? Dude, look what I got here. Can you see it? I literally got a Steven Adams Oklahoma City jersey. Like, yeah. I don't know if it fits anymore, but I got it. So, hey, there you go. That was too important to not show. Let's see here. When's the NFL? Oh boy, Ashton, September. Sometime in September. If you're asking for an actual date, I got no idea. Hey, Cameron, I will say Steven Adams just signed like a massive extension with Houston, though. I'm a big fan of his. He was so fun in Oklahoma City. Any drink and shoe will do. All right. Hey, that's cool, Clausen Z. I don't know what that is, but I hope he's rooting for the Thunder in the finals. But yeah, I got his jersey in there. Once again, not sure if it fits anymore, but I still got it. I refuse to let it go. Ooh, 59 Kato says, what tracks in North America would you want to see the Cup Series go? Ooh. I mean, you got the Circuit Gilles Villeneuve in Canada. That's an easy answer. My problem is I don't know any ovals, and you got to be kidding me. Internet work. Is the internet working, guys? Hello. Okay, I don't know why. Why does this just crash out? This new internet has been fantastic. Okay. Where was I? Oh, yes, tracks in North America. Circuit Gilles Villeneuve's an easy answer, but my problem is I don't know any other tracks in Canada. I know there's like Canadian Tire Motorsport Park. I would like to go to an oval in a foreign country. We can try the football stadium thing again, but I'm sure that Canada and Mexico have some pretty cool ovals that I just don't know about. So, I don't know. Edmonton's in the Stanley Cup final. Does Edmonton have any cool tracks? That would be cool. So, hey. Okay. Being so silly, this internet, or at least YouTube is telling me something's being silly. Close out some tabs. Maybe that'll help. Speaking of, we went through this tab. We went through this tab. We went through this. We have not gone through that tab. We'll get to that tab. Okay, that's good. It's working. So, Jamie, my biggest Rockingham to have a Cup Series race back there would be cool, but I feel like I may get yelled at for saying this by NASCAR traditionalists, but I feel like we're overdoing North Carolina, Charlotte, North Wilkesboro, Bowman Gray, and now Rockingham. Like, if we're going to use all those tracks, let's put it on a rotation. Once again, I might get yelled at for this, but I personally, like, we don't go anywhere in the Northwest in the Cup Series. There are fans in the Northwest, I'm sure. I mean, west of the Mississippi, we got Texas, Coda, technically Mexico. If we want to be really technical. I'm not going to include that, though. So we got Texas, we got Coda, we got Kansas, we got Phoenix, we got Sonoma. Like, that's it. But then we go east of the Mississippi, Daytona, Talladega, Homestead, Charlotte, Rockingham, North Wilkesboro, Bowman Gray, Watkins Glen, Pocono. Like, the list goes on. So let's be like the 49ers and let's go west. Don't know if that's a bad reference or not, but let's just, like, I'm not saying we have to have all our races out west, but, you know, if this next street race, if we don't go back to Chicago, let's go to San Diego, let's go to Denver, go to Seattle. Try to reach out, new fans, even more new fans. So, I don't know. That sounded so negative, but Dan Kelly, I think the easiest answer is Bathurst. I think that's the easiest answer for you. What track in Australia NASCAR should go to? NASCAR to Alaska, says Nee. Hey, okay, 59 Kato says, I'd love a race at Alaska Raceway Park. It would have to be in the middle of the summer. Like, dude, okay, I've been to Alaska, and what I love about Alaska, 80 degrees is a record-breaking heat wave to them. I live in Texas. An 80 degree being a high day is like a record cold temperature in the summer. I would cry. I would give a lot right now for a high of 80 degrees. It's like 95 with humidity. It's terrible. I went out this morning. It was awful. I had zero fun. If we could have a race in Alaska, that would be so fun. In the summer, the weather would be perfect. Like, let's do it. The logistics would be probably so difficult. It might be worse. It would probably be worse than Mexico, but come on, let's do it. It would be so fun. Yeah, I guess we should move on to our Monday picks at some point. Dumb fantasy. Let's talk about this for a minute before we make our Monday picks. So, oh God. Thank God you guys can't see the Twitter trending. It's a disaster. So we got this graphic here. And look at this. So Jeff Gordon and Tom Cruise know each other. And it says that Jeff Gordon said this in an interview recently. I've known Tom Cruise for many years and was on set this past year for Mission Impossible, and then I went to the premiere, and the first thing out of his mouth is, we're doing it. We're doing Days of Thunder 2. I'm all for it. Dude. Look, okay, I will say this. Days of Thunder is a solid movie. Solid, good racing movie. Like, really good, quality, great. But I would love a Days of Thunder 2. And also, it'd be so cool to see the production. We got this F1 movie coming out next week that's like super detailed, like authentic, supposed to be insane. Like, if we can get that kind of technology for NASCAR, we can make a kick butt movie. Sorry for cursing, but we can have a kick butt movie. We can have some epic shots, epic scenes. If it's written well, this could be an incredible thing. Get the drivers on board. You know, we have that new incentive program for the drivers where they get like a bonus if they do things like public appearances, podcast appearances, TV show appearances. Like, give them extra incentives to be in this movie, and Dude, Kyle Larson versus like 60-year-old Tom Cruise would be peak cinema. Just imagine. The year is 2026. NASCAR's doing a street race in Denver. We got Shane van Gisbergen versus Kyle Larson versus Tom Cruise for the inaugural Denver street course race. Like, how cool would that be? I don't know. It's kind of fun. So, yeah. Like, Brock says, hell yes. Denver says, yeah, I mean, dude, let's do it. Come on, Tom Cruise. Let's do it. Let's do Days of Thunder 2. If you need help, call me. I will behind the scenes footage that thing. Like, that would do numbers on the internet. Anywho, it's time to make our Monday picks. I got to go watch the end of this Thunder game at some point. We got a triple header. We got the Nash trucks. It's Nash Truck Afternoon in America. Brandon Jones is once again in the one truck for like the 50th time. TBA is in the 007. The 07. I believe that has now been updated to Patrick Emmerling. Carson Hocevar is going to be in the number 7 truck at Pocono. Coming down here, normal. Tyler Tomasi is going to be in the 69 truck. Nice. Anywho, quickly, truck picks. Nash Truck Afternoon on America on Friday. Everyone make your truck series picks. Come on, people. I know you got truck series picks. I want to hear them. Oh my God. Nee is going to pick Tyler Tomasi just simply based on the car number. Nice. All right, so we got a Tyler Tomasi pick by Nee. Anyone else? Come on. Someone else. Corey Heim is Jamie's pick. All right. Monday picks, truck series. Lane Riggs is in between the lanes pick. Okay. All right, so we got 3 different names, 3 different Monday picks. Zero Apex is picking TBA, which is now, it's Patrick Emmerling now, so go ahead and credit you for Patrick Emmerling there. David's going with Corey Heim. Truck Series isn't playing in New Zealand, so I guess Brock does not have a pick. I'm going to go with Carson Hocevar. All this talk about him, sure, Carson Hocevar. John is going to go with Raja Karuth. Hey, he just won at our last intermediate. I guess, is Pocono really an intermediate? That's debatable. Matt Crafton is Ashton's pick. It's a little bit of a bold pick. He's on a long winless streak. All right, let's move on to Xfinity. Mark is picking Grant Enfinger in trucks. You can keep making your truck series picks, but I'm going to go through this Xfinity entry list. Oh, wait. Is Patrick Emmerling in the 07 in the... Oh, man. Maybe he's not in the 07 in the trucks. Oops. My bad. Grant Enfinger is Mark's pick. 59 Cato is Chandler Smith is 59 Cato's pick. Significant entries in the Xfinity Series. Chase Elliott, last minute in the Hendrick Motorsports number 17. Justin Bonsignor is going to be in the 15 or in the 19 truck. I, at the ripe young age of 125, is going to be in the 53 car. So, yeah, that's fun. 105 years older than Taylor Gray. That's it. That's our significant entries. Xfinity picks. We got a couple of Connor Zilic picks. Nee and Zero Apex are picking Connor Zilic. Chase Elliott is David's pick. Taylor Gray is in between the lanes pick. And John is going to go with Justin Allgaier. Okay. Any other Xfinity picks? Monty is going to go with Connor Zilic as well. That's fun. Clausen Z is going to go with Elliott, Chase Elliott. I'm going to go Who picked? Someone picked my pick. In Between the Lanes has influenced me. In Between the Lanes, I'm going with you. I'm going to go with Taylor Gray. He's been close to getting some wins this year, and he's not in the greatest points position. I'm going to go with Taylor Gray to win the Xfinity race. John's going with Allgaier. Jamie's going with Zilich. Brock is saying Elliott or any JRM car. Mike Wallace, he's got all of his picks lined up. He's got Tanner Gray in trucks, Connor Zilich in Xfinity, and Blaney to back up his win last year in Cup. Ashton's going to go with Sammy Smith in Xfinity. So I got in the trucks, I'm going with Hocevar. Xfinity, Taylor Gray. Let's move on to the Cup Series entry list. So look at the sponsors. That's the biggest deal here in the Cup Series. I'll get to the significant entries. Don't know who that is on the 7 car, but interesting. Denny Hamlin's back this week. Remember? Significant entries. Do we have any significant entries? Oh, the 44. Brennan Poole is in the 44 this week. Remember an hour ago when I was saying it was going to be his first start, and then I was like, wow, I'm dumb? I remember that. SVG's in the safety culture car again for those of you who are SVG fans. So everyone make your Cup picks. Zero Apex is going with Denny. Clausen Z's is going to be very specific. It says that Hocevar wrecks Stenhouse in stage 1 and goes on to win. In Between the Lanes went with John Hunter Nemechek, who has had a fantastic year, don't get me wrong. But John Hunter Nemechek to win at Pocono, I got to get on my phone and see if that's real. That is real. We got a bold pick from In Between the Lanes. David's going with a Hendrick driver. John's going to go with Kyle Busch at Pocono for the win. Okay. We got a wide variety of picks this Monday on every single level. The Pacers are within 10 again. You got to be kidding me. What are we doing? Ugh, you got to be kidding me. Denny for the win, says Mark. Blaney is Jamie's pick. Hamlin is Monty's pick. Chastain, Busch, Suarez, Custer. That's a bold one for Ashton. Christopher Bell is Knee's pick. No, pick Joey Logano. David's not picking Joey Logano. Any Chevy driver says Brock. That's got to be really good odds. They're probably favored. Well, maybe not. So you got Chastain, you got Dillon, you got Larson, you got Haley, Busch, Elliott, Dillon, Allmendinger, Byron, Brennan Poole, Bowman, McDowell, Hocevar, SVG. You got 15 of the 37 drivers. All right, I'm going to go boring on this one. I'm going to go, I don't know, 59 Cato's going to go with Bubba. Okay. I'm going to go boring. I saw someone wrote this out that Denny wins Michigan, misses Mexico, wins at Pocono. I don't know. I could very well see that happening with how well Denny does at Pocono. So I'm going to go Denny Hamlin. Very boring. So I'm going Hocevar in trucks, Taylor Gray in Xfinity, Denny in Cup. So it's boring, but oh well. Sorry, I guess, but wow. What an evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is probably one of our best Monday afters ever. That's not even an exaggeration. We had a ton of people here. Great questions, great topics of discussion, from NASCAR going international to the playoff system to where would NASCAR race in other places to how bad I am at fantasy NASCAR. Once again, if you want to join, that link is up there pinned at the chat. We had a lot of fun tonight, and a big thank you to Owen, a big thank you to Mike, a big thank you to Tori for contributing to the channel and their nice words as well. It truly means a lot. Every one of you who supports it means the world to me. It truly does that we get to do this every week. I have a great time. Glad you guys enjoy the videos. Glad you guys enjoy the live stream. So I'm glad we do this every Monday. I have a lot of fun, but next week will be the Monday after Pocono. We got Pocono this upcoming weekend. Should be fun. Triple header, NASCAR Truck Afternoon in America, then Xfinity, then Cup. I got to go watch the Thunder hopefully win this game. If not, I will cry. So that'll be unfortunate. But everyone have a great rest of your night, morning,